10 Social Security Myths That Refuse to Die Program is Going Broke. The retirement age is 65. And Other Common Misconceptions by Andy Markowitz. AARP published August 25th. 2020 updated November 14th. 2023 Social Security is enormous and complex, paying out more than $114 billion a month to nearly 67 million retirees, people with disabilities, and their family members in September. It's wildly popular. According to a June 2023 AARP study, 96% of U.S. adults view Social Security as an important government program, and 71% say its value grew amid the economic shocks of COVID-19 and high inflation. And it's critical to older Americans' financial health, providing a majority of family income for 2 in 5 people ages 65 and older. Given Social Security's importance, concerns about its current and future state are understandable and widespread. Some of those worries, and the many changes to the program in its 8+ decades, have given rise to misconceptions about how it is funded and how it works. Here are the facts behind 10 of the most stubborn Social Security myths. The 3 biggest myths about Social Security. Myth number 1. Social Security is going broke. Facts. As long as workers and employers pay payroll taxes, Social Security will not run out of money. It's a pay-as-you-go system. Revenue coming in from FICA Federal Insurance Contributions Act and SECA Self-Employed Contributions Act taxes largely cover the benefits going out. Social Security does face funding challenges. For decades, it collected more than it paid out, building a surplus that stood at $2.83 trillion at the end of 2022. But the system is starting to pay out more than it takes in, largely because the retiree population is growing faster than the working population and living longer. Without changes in how Social Security is financed, the surplus is projected to run out in 2034, according to the latest annual report from the program's trustees. Add your voice to our nearly 38 million members and help us protect and strengthen these hard-earned benefits. Get your AARP membership today, $12 for your first year when you sign up for automatic renewal. Even then, Social Security won't be broke. It will still collect tax revenue and pay benefits. But it will only bring in enough to pay 80% of scheduled benefits, according to the latest estimate. To avoid that outcome, Congress would need to take steps to shore up Social Security's finances, as it did in 1983, the last time the program nearly depleted its reserves. The steps then included raising the full retirement age, see myth number 2, increasing the payroll tax rate, and introducing an income tax on benefits, see myth number 8. Myth number 2. The Social Security retirement age is 65. The facts. Full retirement age, or fraud, the age when a worker qualifies to file for 100% of the benefit calculated from lifetime earnings history, is 66 and 6 months for people born in 1957. Over the next few years, it will increase by 2 months at a time, settling at 67 for those born in 1960 and after. The 65 threshold is a long-time Social Security truth that became a myth. When Social Security was created in 1935, 65 was set as the age of eligibility. In later decades, the minimum eligibility age was lowered to 62 when people could claim reduced benefit, but 65 remained the standard for full retirement. That changed with the 1983 overhaul, which raised the retirement age to reduce Social Security's costs. The increase is being phased in over time. 2002 was the last year in which people turning 65 could claim their full benefit. Myth number 3. The annual COLA is guaranteed. The facts. Since 1975, Social Security law has mandated that benefit amounts be adjusted annually to keep pace with inflation. But there is no requirement that this cost of living adjustment COLA produce a yearly increase. The COLA is tied to a federal index of prices for select consumer goods and services called The CPIW benefits are adjusted annually based on changes in the CPIW from the third quarter of one year to the third quarter of the next. In the third quarter of 2023, the index showed a 3.2% increase in prices, so benefits will be 3.2% higher in 2024. But if the index doesn't show a statistically measurable rise in prices, if there's effectively no inflation, then there's no adjustment to benefits. This has happened 3 times since the current formula was adopted, in 2010, 2011, and 2016. Whether or not it produces a benefit increase, this process is automatic. It does not involve the President or Congress. They would have to take separate action to change the COLA. Myth number 4. Members of Congress don't pay into Social Security. The facts. A common complaint about Social Security is that members of Congress don't bother fixing the program because it doesn't cover them. Actually, it does. Members of Congress came under the Social Security umbrella in 1984, along with the rest of the federal workforce, as part of the sweeping changes to the program enacted the previous year. Before that, senators and representatives did not pay into Social Security and were instead fully covered by a pension plan called the Civil Service Retirement System, CSERs. Those in office on January 1, 1984, were allowed to remain in CSERs, but only in conjunction with Social Security. If you're curious, 1 senator and 4 House members remain from those days. Those elected since are covered by Social Security, as well as a pension program that replaced CSERs. Either way, members of Congress pay into Social Security, just like most American workers. Myth number 5. The government raids Social Security to pay for other programs. The facts. The 2 trust funds that pay out Social Security benefits, one for retirees and their survivors, the other for people with disabilities, have never been part of the federal government's general fund. Social Security is a separate, self-funded program. The federal government does, however, borrow from Social Security. Here's how. Social Security's tax revenue is, by law, invested in special U.S. Treasury securities. As with all Treasury bonds, the federal government can spend the proceeds on a variety of programs. But as with all bondholders, Treasury has to pay the money back with interest. Social Security redeems the securities to pay benefits. This borrowing fuels the notion that the government is raiding or even stealing from Social Security and leaving it with nothing but IOUs. But the government has always made full repayment, and the interest increases Social Security's assets to the tune of $66.4 billion in 2022.